Hey everyone, hope you had a fantastic weekend. Just wanted to do a little bit of an update thing to let you know what's going on here as things move forward. So if you saw the title, we're taking a little break from the home renovation and we're starting a new giant project. So we'll get into what the building build is going to be and all that in this video, just to kind of let you know what's coming up there and all of that. So after 48 episodes of the renovation, I'm actually kind of looking forward to doing something else for a little bit. the mental load of getting those videos out every week, it's quite a bit. Those are not quick edits for myself or for Brad, so we're looking forward to editing something else. And for everyone who's been wanting to be caught up to real time with the renovation, congratulations, you were caught up to real time. The last thing we did was all the mudding and taping and getting the rooms all primed, and that's really about it for the completed videos that I have on the renovation. We finished that back, I think, like the last week of July, and then in August I've been catching up a little bit. We took some time off in the middle of the month. I just got back from some traveling, and now we're going to start on this new project. So that's kind of where the last month has gone. As far as the renovation videos go, I expect that we'll have about 6 weeks of no renovation videos. We'll be doing other things. And I think I'm liking the releasing videos on a Saturday thing. So I'm going to keep doing that. This coming week will be a sawmill video release thing, cutting up a big silver maple log with embedded and unembedded steel being cut through. So that's always fun. So keep looking for videos every Saturday. They just won't necessarily be on the renovation. So let me tell you a little bit about the new building we're planning to put up, and then I'll share a little bit more about like how the heck we got to this point. So up here in this top field area is where this building is going to go. It is going to be 40 by 72. It will have 14-foot sidewalls, and we'll be doing a gambrel style roof truss, so it matches our barn over there. And the roof trusses are 14 feet tall, so the total structure be approximately 28 feet tall. We are planning on having a lean-to porch thing on this side of the building. The building will be built with the lean-to porch thing in mind, but we won't be doing it right now because it's getting kind of late in the year, and doing that later allows us to push some of the financial things of this building into the future a little bit. So right now, kind of boring looking. In the future, fancy porch thing. We'll be doing one overhead bay door thing on this end of the building, and then we'll be doing a driveway that comes through here, through where my truck is, and we'll connect down into the existing driveway. So that'll be how we get up here. We do have a separate electrical service coming in for this, and what else? So in the interest of getting the building up as relatively as quickly as possible, we'll be subbing out a lot of the work, but Donovan, myself, and some helpers will be doing all of the framing and maybe the fun part, I guess. Actually erecting the building and putting the tin on. So that's what we're planning on doing here in the next few weeks. Our concrete contractor is coming tomorrow to start on the roadway, the building site, get it prepped, and start installing or getting prepped for installing all the footings for all the posts. So general time frame on this, the foundation should be in this week, the materials are coming this week, and then we are planning to start on framing on the 12th of September. That's also when the trusses are arriving, so between next week and the week after we'll kind of get things staged, get things planned, and then that Monday we'll start actually going on the actual construction, which I'm looking forward to. It's more construction, but it's different. At least, I guess. So that's kind of the highlights of the building, and I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of questions, so I will probably try and answer those as they come in, and then answer them in the videos coming up on actually putting the building up. So look for that as well. There's gonna be more videos on that. So I thought we'd go on my evening walk together and let's kind of run through how we got to this right now, because, you know, timing is fantastic. So, if you recall, or you aren't aware, 2 years ago, or a little over 2 years ago, I launched my chair kits and my workbench kits, and at that time, I was just in my old house in a 2-car garage and just was working in my driveway. I knew that wasn't going to work, and I had been putting off either buying or renting a larger place because I knew we were going to move someday. At that point, we had been actively looking for 35 months for a place to move to. So I knew that if I needed those businesses to actually take off, I couldn't do it in my driveway. So I found a place that I was renting, and that worked out really nicely. It was sort of like the extra space for this business's like finished products area before they went out on a truck and got delivered and installed. So I was just leasing a certain section of that warehouse space, and that actually worked out really nicely, and it has worked out really nicely. At the time, they had all this extra space, and they asked me, like, how much do you want? You can take as much as you want. So I took 2,500 square feet, 2,400 square feet of space, and it was always like, well, if you want some more, you let us know. We'll just, you know, it's per square foot, so just let us know. And over the last couple of years, the amount of stuff they have going out keeps getting bigger and bigger as their business grows. So I kind of figured that they're going to be looking for that space back, and they let me know in February that they were not going to be renewing my lease. It was a 2-year lease, and I had to look for something else, which was fine because at this point we had moved here. That warehouse space is all the way in Minneapolis. It's about a 40-minute drive, so I wasn't really utilizing the space to its fullest anyway because it's just a huge amount of time and effort to actually go there. So I figured I'd be moving anyway at some point. Didn't really want this timing because we're in the middle of the house project. So back in February, started looking for a commercial property to purchase, which is kind of similar to what I did in the past. I wasn't able to find anything to purchase or for lease, at least closer to here. I really didn't want to lease something all the way back in Minneapolis again because same problem. I wouldn't utilize the space as well. So we kept looking, and then in July, because that was the last month of my lease, we decided, I guess we will do the put the building on our own property thing and go with that. So the nice thing about my landlord, where I'm leasing, is they're really flexible with my removal time. So I have moved all my stuff to one side of my aisle. That's 800 square feet. It's not really like an operable space anymore, but it's all there, and I can stay there for a few more months until I'm ready to actually get everything out of there. So back in July, I went there and I moved all my stuff, took down all my pallet racking. I moved everything here into a field that doesn't need to be indoors, so they're at least here ready and out of the way. I have less stuff there to move when it's time to actually move, and I can actually fit all my stuff into that 800 square feet. So that was my July. So one of the things that we kind of thought about with having the building here is our longer term plans for the property. And one of the things that we really would like is to have the existing barn be converted into a guest house. When we were looking for a new house, one of the things we were looking for in the house itself was some kind of guest suite space thing, because we have out-of-town guests pretty often. Up until recently, both of our parents, Lindsay and my parents, lived out of state, so them visiting was, you know, a larger thing, multiple days staying. So we pretty much always have out-of-town guests that we want to accommodate. This house doesn't have a guest room, guest area, and the floor plan it doesn't make sense to have one. There's nowhere to put that. So, you know what? We'll put it in the barn. It's perfect, I guess. And with that, though, you lose the functionality of that as, you know, storage space for all of our stuff. So we figured that someday, regardless, we'd need some kind of storage building here anyway to take the place of the barn and have somewhere to put our stuff in. So that's what this is going to be someday. The that idea of that storage building would have been something a lot smaller than this, but it has a purpose in the future. And for those of you who have been following along, where I am back here, this is where I'm going to put my shop someday, into this hill right there. And I'm planning on putting the sawmill into this little alcove thing over there. So that's the other nice thing about having that building here, is that it does give me some extra space for staging and materials as I look to build these two buildings back here. I'll actually have some areas to work in. So its purpose is both to be a place to allow those businesses to operate and grow, but also to give me some flex space to do whatever I need to, just like I have been using my other space for the past 2 years. So that is the backstory, or the quick backstory version of what's going on with this building and all of that. One common question that I'm sure I'm going to get is, am I planning on moving my shop into that building? The answer is no. One of the things that I learned having the warehouse space is the beauty of having separate spaces for separate things. So the garage I'm in now, the 3-car garage, is my creative space. It's where my furniture making passion space is. That's where my digital business is. Having a separate space for the physical products keeps that stuff separate, keeps it out of the way of that business operating, and vice versa. So it's definitely a lot more efficient than trying to cram all the stuff in the same place and having things getting in the way of each other. That was how I was operating previously. And that was one of the biggest aha moments for me, which I didn't quite understand would happen when I moved into that warehouse space, because it changed the way I worked. I have things set up for different things, and my time is far more efficient than trying to set things up, move things out of the way, and not being able to do something because something else is going on or whatever. So I will stay in the current shop. I actually like that space quite a bit. It's not super ridiculously big, and that's also a thing that I like about it, because a lot of the actual furniture projects that I do don't need a whole lot of space, and having just the right amount of space is nice, because then you're not walking all over the place trying to get wherever you're trying to go 3,000 steps to get to your other tool or whatever. It would be nice to have a little more breathing room just so I can have some more room for cameras, but if I wasn't filming, I don't think you would really need much more than what I have there. Now, another question which I answered a long time ago when I was moving into the current shop was, why didn't I turn the barn into a shop? And I think that barn looks a lot bigger than it really is. It's like a big 3-car garage. It's kind of the footprint on it. It's 35 by 22, so not nearly big enough for what I need. It's been a very interesting and stressful few months for me as I try to figure out what we're going to be doing with all of this. Lastly, to answer another question that I'm sure we'll get is on the sizing. Why don't you go bigger? Why don't you go bigger? The reason for that is that we don't want a giant building on our property. In reality, what I would need would be like a 50 by 100, which I have no desire of having here. So as these businesses grow, it is my intention to move them off site as they need. This is going to be more of an incubation space for them, and then if they grow to that point, good. Let them be free. Here's a little walnut tree. There's like a mid-season Arboretum update. That guy's popping right out the top of that thing. Look at it go. That is sprung up quite a bit this year. Whenever that was, in June, it was down in here. So it's going. I bet if I stick another tube on here this year, it's going to come up to the top before the frost this year. So that's sort of like the update and introduction to the new building. I will start having videos on that pretty soon. The first one will cover the this week, basically, the excavation, site prep, foundation thing work that the concrete folks are doing, and then we'll see what I do with the actual building of the building part to keep that fun as far as the videos go. So that is gonna do it for me this evening. I go put my kids to bed. Have a fantastic week. Let me know if you have any questions about the building. I'm sure there'll be a lot of them. And happy woodworking. This hill's pretty steep. Have a great day, everyone. I will see you later.